Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into this huge, honestly, kind of radical idea that's been around for thousands of years. And it all kicks off with one simple but totally world-changing question.
Just think about that for a second. No more competing countries, no borders causing conflict, just one single authority for every single person on Earth. I mean, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? This vision of ultimate unity?
Well, what if I told you this wasn't some new sci-fi idea, that it's actually the main point of an ancient song, a kind of global anthem, written centuries ago that claims exactly that?
Yeah, we are talking about Psalm 47 from the Bible. And what's so wild about it is that it wasn't just written for one group of people. It was literally designed to be a universal song, a call for the whole world to celebrate one single king.
This one verse, it's basically the key to the whole thing. It nails the two massive ideas going on here. First, this bold statement that God is the king of all the earth. And second, this little instruction that praise has to be done with understanding. You can't just go through the motions. These two themes really set the stage for everything else.
So let's get some context here. This was not some quiet, thoughtful poem. Nope. Scholars think this was a big, loud, public celebration anthem. You know, something you'd hear when a new king gets the crown or after a huge victory. But here's the kicker for that time period, the guest list. The invitation wasn't just for the home team. It was for all nations. It was a truly global vision, which was pretty unheard of.
Okay, so the psalm isn't just a random bunch of praise lyrics thrown together. It's actually really cleverly structured. We can break its whole message down into 4 clear parts that build on top of each other. So here's the roadmap. It kind of builds like a wave. It starts with this big, universal call for joy. Then it moves into why everyone should be joyful. It's about recognizing this sovereign ruler. From there, it gets specific on how you're supposed to worship. And it all crescendos with this final, powerful vision of a global reign. Let's jump in at the beginning.
Right out of the gate, the song just explodes with energy. And notice, it doesn't say, some of you, or, you chosen few. It's a command. All you nations, clap your hands, shout for joy. This is a party, and the whole planet is invited.
And this is what was so radical. In a world that was all about your tribe, your city, your little kingdom, this idea was just mind-bending. The thought that everyone, from everywhere, was invited to the exact same celebration, under the exact same king? Wow!
Okay, so right after that huge global invitation, the song seems to zoom in a little. It starts talking about us and God's specific relationship with his people. Now, at first glance, you might think, wait, doesn't that contradict the whole everyone's invited thing? But it's actually making a totally different point.
And here's the key. The writer is basically saying, hey, all our success, this land we have, our victories, that wasn't because we're so strong or so smart. It's a gift. So this part isn't a boast about being better than anyone else. It's an act of humility. It's about recognizing that everything good comes from this one ruler who's in charge of history.
And now we get to the real heart of the psalm's instructions. You can picture it. The party is in full swing, people are shouting, trumpets are blasting, a king is taking his throne, and then, right in the middle of all that chaos, you get that critical phrase again. Sing praises with understanding. So the psalmist draws this really important line in the sand. On one side, you've got blind emotion, just making noise, getting caught up in the hype. And on the other, you have worship with understanding. That means you engage your brain. It's the difference between just putting on a show and having a real internal conviction. It's not just about being loud, you have to know why you're being loud.
And that brings us to the grand finale. The song zooms back out to that huge global picture. It declares that this king isn't just taking some local throne, he's on his holy throne. And from there, he reigns over all the nations.
The final picture here is all about unity. The source material explains this as a vision for the future, where all the princes and rulers of the world don't get together to fight, but to all agree that there's one authority that's higher than all of them. It's the ultimate picture of global peace under a single, just ruler.
So that's the big idea of this ancient song. But what does a 3,000-year-old anthem about a universal king actually have to do with us today?
I mean, how does this praise turn into practice in, say, our modern work lives? Well, this is where it gets super practical. You can actually translate these principles directly to the 9-to-5 grind. Take the first one. If you believe in a universal king, it can bring real joy and integrity to your work because your hope isn't just in your next paycheck. Or the idea that success is a gift, that fosters humility. It helps you be grateful. That call to worship with understanding, that's a tool to stay mindful and centered, even in a chaotic office. And finally, if you trust in an ultimate authority, you don't have to live in fear of office politics or tough circumstances.
So when you boil it all down, the psalmist is basically making this proposal that real peace, whether it's in our own lives, our workplaces, or between nations, it all comes from recognizing one good and just ruler over the whole shebang. It's a completely different way of seeing the world.
And that's really the thought I want to leave you with. If this whole idea of a single universal king is more than just an old song, if it's true, how would that actually change things? How would it change the way we look at world events, or our own careers, or even just the person sitting right next to us? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.